Hello, welcome to today's Market Snapshot video. We're just ahead of the Bank of England meeting, so of course we're looking at sterling. The market consensus before this meeting is that the vote is going to be split 6-2, so 6 voting for a hold of interest rates in the UK, 2 voting for a rate hike. But this is slightly confusing if you consider that to be the consensus opinion against a chart that shows the British pound steadily rising. So maybe the market knows something that the economists don't hear. Maybe we're looking at a surprise rate hike scenario. I'd be very shocked if it is the case. Kristen Forbes, who made the voting 5-3, the last meeting, is since no longer a member. Her replacement, slightly less hawkish. We don't know too much at the moment, but it would be surprised to go against the consensus in her first rate decision. So we probably are looking at 5-3 at a push if you consider Chief Economist Andy Haldane maybe stepping in on the hawkish side. But it seems unlikely that we would get a rate rise in this meeting. So again, we're going to have a look at the chart now and look at how the British pound is rising. Perhaps the decision ends up in a correction, or you could maybe just look at this chart and think, well, there are other factors at play that are driving the pound higher. Not least, of course, is the fact that the dollar has generally been weakening across the board. When you look at the pound against the euro, it's a slightly different picture. Against the yen, the pound again is looking quite strong. So we're going to look at all those right now. So here we've got the all too familiar daily candlestick chart for the cable. We were talking about this being a significant breakout at this stage. It's proved to be so. We've had minimal correction since the breakthrough 131. It looks like we're going up to challenge 133 as we approach the Bank of England meeting here. Again, the pound is looking strong, so it doesn't really juxtapose too well against the idea that the Bank of England is going to be dovish. It's almost as if the market is taking the Bank of England with a grain of salt and just knowing the fact that there aren't probably going to be any more rate cuts on the way, and a rate rise has to be the next move at some point, if not today, then in the next few months. I mentioned the other significant charts with the pound. In my opinion, the euro against the pound chart is just symbolic of massive strength in the euro for its own reasons, because the European economy is doing very well, but also because the euro is the main counterpart to the US dollar, and the US dollar is looking very weak. So when you're selling dollars with if you consider the euro the second most important currency in the world, naturally, most of the time you're going to be buying euros if you're selling dollars. So I think that goes a long way to explain this euro strength against the pound, rather than any kind of inherent pound weakness. That is supported when we look at the pound against the yen. Now, this is a weekly chart. I just wanted to bring it up because it's just very apparent how significant the 148 level is in the pound yen in the guppy chart. If we could jump down to the daily candlestick chart here, we can see we bumped up against this level, this 148 level, 3 times. 3 times, it could be 4 times the charm if we can get up there one more time. If we roll over from below, broke below these the 144 level, then maybe we're looking at a retest of the bottom of the range again. But for the moment, we could be on for a significant break higher in the pound here, and I think that probably bodes well for the pound across most currency pairs. So that's it for today's Market Snapshot video. Again, we're previewing the Bank of England meeting, looking at the British pound. The pound looks strong against the dollar, weaker against the euro, and so an interesting pair to look at here is the pound against the yen. If the Bank of England come out dovish as expected, maybe a 6-2 alignment of rates, maybe emphasizing the slower growth instead of inflation in the inflation quarterly report, then I think maybe it's negative for the pound, but it doesn't have to be that negative. If we get a hawkish surprise, I think that adds weight to the breakout that we're seeing in the pound against the dollar, and we could finally see that 148 level break in the pound against the yen. Now, if you do like these videos, of course, follow LCG on social media, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook.